But what happened is I got sick about 4 or 5 years ago. People didn't even notice. I got really, really sick. They could never find out they still haven't found out what was wrong with me, right? And I looked up and realized I didn't have children and I didn't have a lot of sustainable relationships. And it bothered me only because I thought that I wanted what other people wanted. But what I had before was real peace. In our loneliness, sometimes our faith, and we don't know it and we don't connect it to that, it's actually bouncing back and forth because we start wanting some of the things of the world.
That's good. That's good.
But spiritually, think how powerful it is when we don't really need nobody but ourselves. I just told you this.
Yeah.
If loneliness is a problem, then schedule your friends like you schedule a business meeting. Schedule time with your mother the same way you schedule going to see that lawyer.
Yep.
I told him, bro, if you got your friend, put them in the books.
Yep.
Put them in your phone the same way you prioritize other things. When I started prioritizing my mental health, when I started saying no and being okay with it, some of that loneliness went away because I put time into relationships. See, we get lonely, but we don't want to do the work.
Right.
Is part of the problem and the reason why we get angry at people, the reason why we hate on people, the reason why we lonely, is because we really don't know what we want. How can God bless you with anything if you don't even know what you want?
All right, let's go ahead
I'm
and give it.
sorry. This has nothing to do with what he said. Please tell me that's David Banner.
Yeah.
Okay, I was about to say, because if not, somebody's still on his look and I was about to go off. But okay.
So you must be a fan, huh?
Yes, we love David in this household.
He looks good there.
Yeah.
right.
I like big dudes. My daughter dad's 6'5". I love David Banner. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can unpack some of the things that he said and try to transition a little bit away from his appearance. But shout out to David Banner. That was him. He did mention about people being in a singlehood, so to speak. He also talked about how people are focusing on self, but they're not doing the work. And so let's just open that up a little bit, man. Go ahead. I'm gonna start with you, Shan. What were your thoughts about what was said?
Well, that's not what I got out of it, but some of the things that hit home for me. If y'all hear my little alarm going off, please excuse me because it's gonna do. But anyway, so the thing I got out of it is I think that a lot of times we take things for granted, especially for me. This is what I got out of what he was saying. We need to take time for the things that we value the most, which should be your family, right? Like I've been blessed to have both of my grandparents still alive, older, and I take it for granted. And you would think that I'd be like, I should be spending more time with them, going to travel to see them. But in my head, for some strange reason, even they're in their 90s, they'll live forever. I don't know what it is that makes me just take it for granted, But I know that, I should be getting on the road as often as possible, going to visit them because it's a blessing to still have them in my life. Every time I get that phone call, even though my grandma will talk me to death about something that I'm just like, what are we talking about? I should be happy that I have a grandmother who's calling me, a mom who calls me, right? And I should be spending time with them. And I think that sometimes we are selfish. We go our day to day and it's all about us, and we don't take the time to make room for or make time for the people or the village that we love the most. We take it for granted, so to speak. That's what I got out of what he was saying.
Okay. I'm gonna go to you, Hink. I know he's mentioned that true happiness blooms from within through deep self work. What are your thoughts about what you heard from David Banner?
Yeah, I mean, if that's that's where he's gonna find his peace. I mean, I understand that. I mean, that's his way of moving and operating. I understand that as well. But individuals, we all that's what makes us so unique because we all in individuals. We all move and operate differently. Now, me, I couldn't imagine me not having my kids or a wife or a significant other, whatever title you want to give your person. I could imagine that. You know what I'm saying? I love being and participating in my kids' life, my granddaughter's life, so I couldn't imagine not having that. And then when my time on this great earth is gone, I want to make sure, I continue the blessings. I don't want it to, go with me, because where I'm going, it can't take it. I can't spend it. You know what I'm saying? So whatever means and things that I've accumulated over my time period, I want to share it. You know what I'm saying, with my son, with my daughter, my granddaughter, or any future grandbabies. So yeah, I enjoy that. And as far as like what he's talking about spending time, I think a lot of us take life for granted. Tomorrow's not promised, man. Shout out to UGK, man. One day you're here, the next day you're gone, man. You never know when your turn gonna be. This it's sad that I'm at that age where, I thought it was kind of funny. I used to see my mother and my grandmother always looking at obituary in a newspaper. Now I'm at that age, I understand. God damn, it's crazy to even say, but that's reality. So you just gotta don't take life for granted, man. Just I say it all the time, black men, protect yourself, man, all the time. You just gotta do what you can to stay on this earth as long as you can. It means physically take care of yourself as well as mentally take care of yourself. So I'm gonna leave it there. Go ahead, Mistaken. I think you up next, man.
All right, my apologies, cut out.
You good? You good?
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go to somebody else. Let me go to Mistaken, but something else that Hink spoke on made me think about how when folks always say that not everybody is meant to have children, meant to get married. So I would like for you to speak on that, if you can, Mistaken, along with your perspective on the video.
Yeah. I think there is a difference between being alone and being lonely, right? There one is a physical state and one is a mental and emotional state. So being physically alone, I think at times it is much needed. Like a lot of times being in solitude, like they talk about, a lot of time Jesus spent a lot of his time in solitude, praying, meditating, things like that. So being alone at times is very necessary to unplug from everything and everybody, right? You need that sometimes to reset. It's the being lonely part that I think people struggle with, because sometimes you can be in a room full of people and still be alone, right? So it's the mental state that I think when we when people are talking about, as humans we're not meant to be alone, it's that deeper emotional connection that is needed for you to fully develop. So I think that is definitely needed. So even if you don't, let's say, have a significant other in terms of a partner or getting married, your life can still be fulfilled by the other relationships that you are deeply connected to. And that helps with the not being lonely part, right? Because not every woman, even if she wanted children, may be able to have children. So that doesn't, or even a man, he may find the woman that he want children with, and only to find out that he can't produce children, right? So that doesn't make them any less valuable in terms of the deep connection that they can have within a relationship, right? And I think too, with what David Bannister said, is finding time to make those relationships, to form those deep connections with people that you do care about, because we do have a tendency to take things for granted. We, prioritize other things. We might prioritize our jobs, saying that we're doing this for our families, while at the same time not spending the time we need to, or investing in our families that we need, right? So I think that is very important to what he was saying, is that making the time to, build with the people that we care about and not take them for granted.